Okay, you guys ready? Oh, Brock hit it. All right.
We're live. What's up, guys?
How's it been? It's been a long time.
It feels like it's been forever,
It's
really.
been like half a month.
I know, it's crazy.
So, I mean, Brock, I think you've had the biggest stuff happen. Mom had surgery. How'd that go?
It went really well. They it was a double mastectomy, so they took, or mastectomy, however you say it. So they took everything. They took a lymph node with it to make sure like they're going to send that off and just test everything and make sure that there's no live cancer cells. And as long as there's no live cancer cells, to my understanding, she's done with treatment. Hoping and praying that that's the case. Yeah, it went good.
And she's in good spirits?
Yeah. Yep. She's finally like starting to get. So when she was on chemo, her taste was real weird. Like, she's a huge coffee drinker, and coffee was nasty. She liked sweets. Sweets were gross. Like, she just didn't have a taste for anything. So she's finally starting to get her taste back, and so she's pretty excited about that. Now she's just ready to get her hair back.
You should shave your head in solidarity with her, and you guys can grow.
I have been buzzing it, but I hadn't went like straight no guard.
I tell you what, if you ever decide to, I will do it with you if it's like 3 years from now.
Why that specific date?
Because I won't have to do it. It'll just already be there. Dude, I got a hard bald spot, man. I look like Manu Ginobili. Like I was, like if I take like videos or something, like like weightlifting videos or whatever. Like I when I pick the weight up, like you just see this Manu Ginobili bald spot. And I'm like, this is wild. It's so hard. I'm glad I can't see it consistently because I wouldn't, obviously I can't see it. And the only people who can't see it are like people who are as tall as you, Daniel, and I'm not around that many people that tall. So, because it's the only thing, like it's just so in your face. You know what I mean? It's not like it is who I am. I don't, it is what it is. I'm not insecure about it, but like it's just, man, you can't really look at anything else, is all I'm saying.
Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Yes, and it's just there. And maybe I am being insecure about it, but like I'm comfortable with having it. It is who I am. But
I wouldn't say this is insecure.
I will anyway. I will be shaving whenever it's time's going to come. I'm going to say 3 years, but we'll see.
So you're not going to be the guy that like hangs on to it.
No, I'm going to go full Mr. Clean whenever the time arrives. Like Leslie will let me know. She knows she has clearance to do that. When she goes, hey, it's time, I will accept it and I will go full Vin Diesel, and that's who I will be.
Can you grow like a serious beard?
No.
That's tough.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's no good look, Daniel. It's going to be Mr. Clean. That's what it's going to be. Listen, I look good in some jeans, but like nothing's gonna happen. No part of me is good. I don't grow a good beard. My hair is none of my hair is good. I don't have back hair, so that's a plus. That's about it.
Well, thank the Lord you're married to a strong Christian woman that can't leave you.
Yeah. Yep. Because she would if she could. Let me tell you. I shouldn't say that.
I can't grow a beard either. So
anyway, you got a baby face, Brock. It's good.
I think you'll look awful when I grow it out.
I think you'll look youthful for a long time. How is your competition? You also did Crash Crescendo.
It was good. We didn't, as far as the leaderboard goes, we didn't do very well, but it was fun. I was pretty
better teams there though this time.
Yeah, there were some pretty good. Bryson's team won, I think.
The all male division.
They were pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. it was a long weekend. So I was I was competing and volunteering. So it was Thursday night, Friday night, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. It was a lot. I was pretty wore out. It was fun though.
This was just an event Crash hosted.
Yeah, Crash does 2 big events, Crescendo and Crucible, and like it's like 2 events a year. It's Brock's gym, it's JR, and Crescendo is for teams, and like games teams, it's like one of the better like tune-ups for them, if you will, because there's not a lot of teams competitions out there for like games teams. And then Crucible is obviously individual, and I would say it's a second tier competition as far as all of the competitions go, right? So like Rogue would be first tier. Wadapalooza, if you've heard of that, Daniel, would be first tier. And then right under that would be like competitions like TFX, the one that I do every year at Texas, the elite division. And then Crash, Crucible, I would say, when you Brock. And I would say it's on the upper echelon of second tier because games people do it. Like usually like Colton Mertens won this last year. But it's usually like 1 or 2, sometimes 3 games guys, and then semifinals for the rest of the field. So yeah. And that's there. They do 2
I think it would be really cool, which it would change a little bit of the dynamic of it because he normally does it in October, I believe, which is kind of after. Not kind of, it's after the season's over. But I think it would be cool if, like this year, how they did you've got the Mayhem Classic and NorCal Classic and all that.
Oh, if it was a semifinal?
I think that would be pretty cool. And I think it could happen.
Yeah, I think absolutely he could do that. But he's programming Syndicate. I think he's already got his hands full. If anything, maybe he's dipping his toes in to do his own, make his own.
Yeah.
So no, I agree with you. It would change things though a lot because I think he likes the team competition being a tune-up because there is no other one like it.
Yeah. And I don't see him doing another one like 2 weeks.
No,
2 weeks or a month later. It's just too much.
Stressful. I mean, it would be cool if he did. I'd be commentating it. The whole crew would be on it. You know what I mean? So that would be awesome.
It would be really cool. Are y'all commenting or commentating? Not commenting. Are y'all commentating the Mayhem Classic this weekend?
No, because that's Rich and all his people. Like they have their own media team. They don't want us, right? We're doing Syndicate and then NorCal.
And y'all are gonna actually be there.
Yeah. Like that'd be cool. It's me and Bill are commentating. Like Taylor's gonna have his own like Hill Taylor type deal there. Savon's gonna be on the floor doing behind the scenes, and like Souza and like how we did Crash, like how we did Crash Crucible is how we'll do those. Have to clean up commentary a little bit, make it a little bit more professional than we normally do it, but it'd be okay.
Anything new with you, Daniel?
How's
training?
Dude, this week I went to so my head coach that I worked for this past year at I coached high school football at a private school in Nashville, and my head coach he played for a coach that is now at Clemson. So we went to Clemson for our like coaches trip or whatever. And I don't think I've eaten that bad twice in the last year. So it was rough, but the Clemson trip was cool. Yeah, it was cool. So nothing super exciting. Their facilities make Duke look like a D3 school, but
you've been a part of Tennessee's facilities. I bet they're, around that. Yeah.
They're at, well, okay. So with the
like same tier, like, what I mean?
No, not really, dude.
You think Clemson's better?
Yeah, it's another level. Now Tennessee is going to get there based on one of our coaches on staff, his son is like a recruit that everybody wants. So he's been everywhere recently, and he said that there's going to be more like stuff coming to Tennessee where that'll make it equal. But dude, Clemson's stuff was ridiculous. Like what all they had available for him, it was pretty crazy. But because that's what happens.
Yeah, almost on the level of Mizzou.
You know, I feel kind of bad for these kids because like the guys that go to Clemson, any NFL team is going to be worse. Any NFL team.
What do you mean?
Like facility wise.
Oh,
or what they get.
I think that's the case with a lot of colleges, though.
I mean, maybe it will be, but it wasn't for me.
Yeah, no, for sure. The big colleges. I don't know. Colleges make a lot of money, man.
They make a lot of money, dude. They make a lot of money.
Like college coaches make more money than NFL coaches. Like it's
comparable.
Saban made more money than NFL coaches.
I'm curious. I don't know if he did. Like he made a lot. I agree, but
I think he said like I make more money at Alabama than I would at the Browns.
Well, I mean that's the Browns.
Well, Deshaun Watson made a lot of money at the Browns.
Dude, he stole from them. My goodness.
That might be the worst trade of all time.
100%. Andy Reid makes $20 million a year, bro.
Nick Saban made $15 million at Alabama.
Well, that's not more than Andy Reid.
It's not. You're Andy Reid. That's like the best coach. You can't take the best guy. Okay. How much money does Kevin O'Connell make?
Sean Payton, $18 million.
I don't care, dude. Stop it. How much?
Jim Harbaugh, Mike Tomlin, $16 million.
How much money does Kevin O'Connell make?
I don't know. I gotta find it. See if I can find him. Sean McVay, 15. Kyle Shanahan, 14. Ben Johnson, first-time head coach, 13. Kevin O'Connell, $13 million.
Okay. And Saban made $121 million in 10 years.
So Kevin O'Connell is making more.
$12 million.
That's insane.
Now Saban was probably getting some booster stuff on the side.
I don't know what that's like. Alabama Jones. Have you seen that clip?
I don't think
so. Dude. Yeah, because you don't watch stuff. Dude, this is so funny. There's this comedian that was on College Game Day, and they had Nick Saban on there. Brock, you can probably find it. Can you find this? Can you go to YouTube? It is hilarious. Nick Saban hates this. Type in Shane Gillis.
Oh, Lord.
And then Nick Saban. And then it should pop up. Dude, it's so funny. Nick Saban, you would think Nick Saban is like just staring daggers into this comedian. If you can't find it, Brock. I'll just say it. But it is one of the more funnier things I've ever seen on like I don't watch College Game Day, but it was on Instagram like everywhere.
Shane Gillis is hilarious. Are we good?
Yeah. Yeah, just click 120 is fine. Or 143. Yeah.
Feels like we can win it. You know? There's some parity now that everybody can pay their players. Notre Dame has a shot. It's not the SEC. It's not Coach Saban.
Oh. Now he's going to be on the set, right? Hey, Coach Saban ran a good operation out there.
No, he did.
Good program, and obviously Notre Dame as well.
I don't know.
You called him a cheater earlier.
I was just joking around. I don't think the SEC paid players ever.
Period.
I'm joking. Are we not? Is this not a fun show?
No.
Serious show?
Serious football.
Like Alabama Jones is very serious.
I'm not serious.
Get the whip, Indy.
Because look at the hat he's got on.
Yeah, I always tried to run the program that way so players had a better chance to be successful in life.
I agree.
We make more money in the NFL than any other school, 61 players in the league. That was how we cheated. We developed players. We recruited.
I'm so sorry.
A lifelong Notre Dame fan.
Anyway, that's it. He called him Alabama Jones when he was wearing that hat, and it killed me. It was the funniest thing. I don't think Nick Saban's like used to people making fun of him because it was just so funny. And then Shane's like, "Are we not allowed to do this here?" like. Anyway, that was it.
That was good. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm wrong. NFL coaches make more money than college coaches.
Thank you.
I thought Nick Saban made
I don't
more
think
than
I've
a lot
ever
of
been
them.
to any of the Clemson, the new Clemson stuff. Or
I wonder-
updated, I guess. I actually hate Clemson, but that's just
Gamecock fan?
yeah. Hey, it's gonna be a good year this year.
I'm never saying that about my team ever again. If we're good, that's cool. If we're not, okay.
Dude, you all need to join the Big 12 again.
Stop, Daniel. So we can think we're good and then get smacked in the playoffs?
Or the ACC. Nobody's good in the ACC.
No, I want to be in the SEC because if we're good in the SEC, we're good, period.
Yeah, you're never going to be good in the SEC. Though.
Well, then what's the point? Like, then I don't care I don't want to go to the playoff and then just get smacked by Alabama. Like, if we can,
blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then.
and we'll find it in the SEC championship, and then we'll be good. Right? We'll take on TCU all day, or whatever team we'll throw over there. I don't want to not be a part of the SEC. Being a part of the SEC is awesome. As a fan, you feel superior to other people when you talk about college.
You are superior.
Like I don't want to not be a part of that.
There's no argument. You are superior.
Who won the national championship this year?
Big Ten, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was a fluke. No, honestly, it was kind of good for it not to be an SEC team.
Actually, they won the year before
Just
that.
different.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, dude.
Dude.
Who's counting?
Yeah, Daniel, you're such a killjoy this episode, man. You just let us be, okay?
Sorry.
Have y'all ever? I know this is back to the Shane Gillis. Have y'all seen him impersonate Trump?
Yeah,
Dude is so good.
he's got a good Trump impersonation. But okay, I wonder. Was there anything else I wanted to say before we talk? I don't think so. Okay.
What'd you think of Hiller's video of Hopper?
I know what you thought of it, so that gives me. I don't know if you want to go into that on this show. We should wait till the live.
I haven't watched all of it. I've only watched like 10 or 15 minutes.
I thought it was really good. I thought he was very personable, and I think that showed through. And I don't think people get a chance to see that very often.
Oh yeah, it's good as far as I am into it.
Mm-hmm. I just know you're not a big fan.
No, it's not that I'm not a big fan. It's just, that's for another time. No, I don't.
Daniel, you need it. Please don't be a calculator right now. Rock with me a little bit, okay? You know how much you like Urban Meyer? That's how Brock likes Jason Hopper.
It's
Okay,
not.
that's it. Daniel, we're just roll with me, and now we're going to go to the next topic, okay?
All right. I'm gonna have to hear the backstory at some point, though.
Look, I don't dislike the guy as a person. Look, seriously, I don't dislike him as a person. I speak to him. I'm nice. I'm just not. I'm not a huge fan of people in general that just have that what is it, that aura about him, I guess, like
Cockiness.
cockiness. Yeah.
That's fair. I mean, that's fair. I would argue I have that aura every now and again, but you know, I 100% get what you're talking about. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but
if I was that
it
good at
also
something,
it also
I might be
makes
cocky
him
too.
right. It also makes him what he is. I don't think he would be as good as he is if he wasn't like that. You know.
No, I definitely I don't want people to think that I hate the dude. Like I really don't, because then it makes me look fake if I, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not. It doesn't matter if I like him or not, really, because you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's going. Hey, watch. He's gonna randomly watch.
There
this
are 7
episode.
people here. As long as Grant
gonna
doesn't
say.
do anything, Grant might. We gotta keep him in check. But other than him, I
He's
think
gonna
we're
walk
all
up
right.
to me at the gym. You don't like me, dude?
Yeah, exactly what's gonna happen.
Oh, he works out at your gym.
Like,
Yeah, that's why I
dude,
was
this is
trying to
the-
be all coy about it, and he just
Oh.
Brock keeps coming with it. I'm trying to move on.
no.
I was like, we got it out. We can go. We can keep going, and you just keep harping on it, Brock.
Like, bro, this is the 3rd time you've ever spoken to me in my life. So, and we see each other every day.
Dude, there's
I'm
some
not gonna lose
there's
any
some
sleep
deep
over it.
animosity in there that needs to come out at some point.
Nah.
Me and Jason are friends. I have nothing bad to say about Jason. We'll leave all that to Brock.
No, I ain't gonna say nothing bad.
Okay. No.
Whatever, Destiny, get
he
out of here.
cares. He cares. Yeah. Get out of here. Destiny. I'm with you, bro. I'm Team Brock on that. Okay. Let's go to the gospel. Let's do that.
What
You wanna
is
do
the
Ally
gospel?
Stuckey thing first?
Yeah, let me see if I can.
Do you want to pull that up?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just sending something. I'd say we could do a weekly heresy segment.
Dude, I'm so down. We got to come up with a better name for it, though. Okay. Is there something with a U? Unashamed usurper, or that doesn't come off well. Pharisee. We got to have some alliterative thing, a name for it, and we'll 100% we'll do that every week. I'm so down. I see them all the time.
Some of the ones you sent me, I'm like, someone's actually teaching that from a pulpit. It's unbelievable.
Dude, it just makes you angry every
It's
time.
bad.
You know how we talked about hate watching things? I do follow 3 accounts that just bring up people like this, and it is just make me angry. It's probably not good for my blood pressure.
Do you know who this lady is, by the way?
Ally Stuckey?
No, the lady that's
Paula White, is that her name?
I do not know.
okay. So
You do?
yeah, so she is currently the advisor to the Office of Faith at the White House. Trump appointed it. So
Okay.
Ooh, that's
yeah,
interesting.
very, to say the least.
Oh, okay. What is it called again? What's the position?
I'll look it up exactly. Sorry.
Is that position always been there?
No, he made it this year.
Okay.
Okay, she is the senior advisor to the White House Faith Office.
Solid.
That's not a good look.
It's not the bishop lady. It's somebody else, Leslie.
No, I don't think Trump would appoint the bishop lady to the.
All right, here we go. Babe, you've probably seen this.
And I believe that when you honor God on Passover, starting on April 12th at sundown through Good Friday on the 18th and concluding on Easter Sunday, you can receive these 7 supernatural blessings for you and your house. According to Exodus 23, God will assign an angel to you. He'll be an enemy to your enemies. He'll give you prosperity. He'll take sickness away from you. He will give you long life. He'll bring increase in inheritance, and he'll give a special year of blessing.
For your special Passover offering of $1,000 or more as the Holy Spirit leads, you will also receive the beautiful 10-inch Waterford Crystal Cross.
You might laugh
Whoa.
at this and you might think, how could anyone buy into something so gimmicky? But I promise you have people in your life, especially older people, who have dwindling savings, but who believe this, that if they sow a seed of faith, that's often the language used, then God will repay them with some kind of blessing. Pray for Paula White, but pray for every single person that has ever listened to her and believed her. These are heretical teachings that lead straight to hell. But the gospel of Jesus, the truth that he is enough for us, that he is our contentment and salvation and satisfaction, that will really set you free.
And I believe that when you
But wait, there's more.
Dude,
For an additional $1,000, you can get double the blessing.
That's crazy, dude. And they couldn't come up with a better looking cross than that. Like for $1,000, like
Dude,
you're
one of
getting
my-
a little keychain cross.
One of my
Oh,
girls
neat.
lives on a street called Waterford Crest.
One.
really?
Yeah, that made me just think of that.
I thought I don't know if this is funny, but the part where it says, for a small gift of $1,000 as the Holy Spirit leads you. Like, what are we doing here?
That's
Oh
crazy.
my gosh.
I can't imagine paying this $1,000. I don't feel led at all. What is this? Led to bankruptcy? That's what I'm getting led to.
Oh, we
I
shouldn't
mean,
joke
they
like
jumped
this, but-
straight to $1,000.
straight.
You couldn't have said 100. I mean, goodness.
You've heard the lady that gave 2 coins. We want 1,000.
Oh my god.
I think like, seriously, what she said. Like the sad part about it is people will give to that.
Yeah.
Blows
No.
my mind.
Yeah, and I mean, okay, do you see this? So I see this like the Indian scammers that call and say that your, credit card is fraudulent or whatever, and you need to fix it, right? But do you put it on a worse pedestal? That might be the wrong word. Well, like, do you think it's worse because it's playing on people's beliefs?
Hang on.
Because I always feel, and Daniel, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I always feel like if you are playing on people's beliefs the way a Joel Osteen does, the way a Kenneth Copeland does, the way this senior advisor of faith is, like, that's so much worse because you're leading people astray, where you're just trying to steal from somebody if you're the Indian scammer guy, right? And you're just stealing, you're stealing from an old person, right? But it's not actively leading people away from God. And I feel like that's so much worse because false prophets will have a stricter judge on them than regular sinners. And I would put them in that category.
I mean, at the end of the day, everybody goes to the same place, but do I think it's more insidious? Yeah.
I mean, just like and I think we're allowed to call it out.
Yeah, we
You know,
should.
if you're a Christian, you're allowed to call out other unchristianly things that are claiming Christianity. If it's claiming Christianity, you should call it out with full authority, like
Absolutely.
full chest, right? I kind of think, like, when I'm talking with Garrett, and like I think, like, if people don't operate on the Bible and like they don't believe in God or whatever, I'm not Like I can't like call them out in the name of the Bible because they don't care. It doesn't matter to them. But I can show them love and say, this is how I believe, right? And that's how I'm going to get across to people, not condemning them. But in this case, you are using Christianity of full Christians, and I think it's absolute condemnation from other Christians that you deserve.
I wonder if this is like this kind of goes back to, was it just me and you, Brock, that dealt with blasphemy of the Holy Spirit? I can't remember, John, if you were on that show for it, but it reminds me of that. It's like if they truly know what the gospel says and then they actively choose to usurp it and undermine it and try to trick people for it. I mean, that's like on par with that, in my opinion, or very close to. Where
do you think they know?
I think some of them do. Yeah.
You think some of them are saved?
No, you can know and not be saved.
No, I know. I'm saying, I guess you wouldn't. I guess your heart would be not changed. You know what I mean? I guess, yeah.
I mean, the Jews knew all the Old Testament texts, but they refused to see Jesus for who he was, right?
Yeah. Yeah. They dabbled in some calfness.
I mean, really, what's bad too is the people
golden calf. I'm
following it.
I'm sorry. I went. You know, I flipped it 4,000 years on you. That's my fault.
Yeah. Go ahead, bro.
I was just saying that it's just as bad the people following it, because clearly, if you're following that, you're not in the Word,
right? Because
it's clear in the Word that that's not right. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Each of us should be challenging what we hear, regardless of who it's from, against the Word of God. But yeah.
I would like to ask Trump why he appointed her.
Do you think Trump is saved?
No. I would.
Then why?
No, because I'm interested.
Oh, because you want to have a conversation about it.
Like, what is the thought process? I just want to know what his thought process was of I know he's not coming from where I'm coming from. I just want to know why it's hurt. No, I wouldn't even ask this is blasphemous. Like, why did you pick this person? Why did you pick this person? I just want to know why.
I think this explains a lot of things, in my opinion, like how he can be okay with abortion up to 13 weeks, but then like staunch. Like, it explains a lot. It's like you're all in or you're not. There's no middle ground.
And
right?
no part of me thinks Trump is no part of me is like Trump said this, therefore this. Like, I'm not. It's not like that at all, right? I just wait for him versus Kamala, or anything really that the Democrats are trying to do. But it's not that like he's this dude that's like gonna save everything. It's not it at all. But I would like to know why, just the thought process behind it.
Yeah, just start a conversation, man. Witness to him. Absolutely.
All right, well, you can put me in contact with them. I'll do it.
I got connections, so
this would be interesting. Who do you think would have a better shot at getting contact with Donald Trump?
The only in I would possibly have is if I knew someone that attended the White House because they won a championship. So
that's a better in than I would have. Right?
I might would have a little bit of an in.
You think you'd have more of an in?
Maybe. My son's daycare teacher, her husband or boyfriend or something,
cousin.
Played. He used to be a professional golfer and played on the USA amateur team and played with Trump.
Okay.
Right.
So he possibly could have his number.
Yeah, he might.
See, I feel like I
Destiny.
wouldn't even have an idea of how to attack. I just know a lot of different people in different areas. You know,
Do you
like-
know?
Dude, her Destiny's sister works for half sister or something. Works for Homeland Security, and she thinks that she can do anything, bro. She works at
That's-
Charlotte Airport.
It'd be, I don't know the situation at all. Destiny, don't get mad at me, but it would be so funny if your sister just works at a desk and just punches papers in and out and like just whatever, just or like a secretary at Homeland Security, and then she like tells y'all she's basically a CIA agent. Like that's just crazy stuff. Like her and Snowden work together. Like it would be she just lives this double life.
Y'all haters.
Listen, I could take a trip to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, girl. It doesn't mean anything. This is true. So, like, I don't know if Hepner would have a way to get to Trump, but I would be able to talk with Hepner, like, right now. So that
John, do you remember Mason Kaler?
yes,
He was Secret Service during Trump's first term.
Wow,
Yeah, like he actually was like
really?
protecting him. at
That's
times,
crazy. How do you get into that?
Yeah. Marines and then into Secret Service after that.
The only thing I remember about Mason is that he would walk around like this because he wrestled.
Yes, yes.
That is so crazy.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. Why you should have started with that?
Yeah, I thought about that after the fact. I was
Like,
oh,
yeah,
you know what?
yeah.
So,
I don't think. I mean, see, I feel like you have a better shot at that than I do. He's your same year, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I do have Destiny's sister, so that's pretty good.
You do. You do.
All right, we're off
That's
topic.
so
Let's get to
great.
the gospel, man.
That's so
All right, that was Heresy Quick Hits. We'll be back with the next week. We'll have something else for you.
So, what is the gospel?
I want to ask Paula White that question. Maybe she'll let me know for $50,000.
Yeah, I don't have enough money to find out what the gospel is.
That's the best part. The gospel's free.
Mm, come on,
Amen. Keep going.
but for $1,000.
Oh my gosh. Am I supposed to expand upon that?
I would say okay. Like we could. I mean, maybe we have different definitions. I think the gospel is just Jesus Christ dying and resurrecting, and the good news, for if you will, his life. That's the gospel
I'd say the gospel
in a
is
nutshell.
the message of how God seeks to reconcile us to him through Christ and what Christ has done for us. So very similar. Yeah.
Right.
Well, like you said, it's the most of the time you hear it as the good news. So the good news, as a Christian, the good news is none of this here matters because God sent His Son to die for our sins. So now we don't have to pay the penalty for those sins. You know what I'm saying? So, in a little bit different terms, I mean that's the gospel. Son
And
was
the
sent,
evidence that we
died
have that
for
he's the
us.
Son of God is resurrection.
Right. Good episode. I'm just kidding.
I completely lost my train of thought. I had something to build off of this and I just lost it, dude. Is Leslie cooking something in the background?
She is cooking, but why? Do you hear like a thing going on?
Like microwave or something?
Yeah. No, she's
Okay.
probably
Got the
making,
easy Mac
probably-
going.
she's making oats, probably something, whatever she's making for herself.
Easy bake oven out?
Yeah, I made some burgers in that same microwave like an hour ago.
You don't know what that is?
Yeah, I know an easy bake oven. Yeah, like the like kids play with it.
Okay. All right.
That's what it is, right? Yeah. Did you have one growing up, Daniel? Did you play it on an easy bake oven when you were little?
I did a lot of things, dude, that were not very manly growing up. Yes. I think something, and Grant hit on this earlier. This was my train of thought. I'm glad it came back. I think the main problem with the gospel and presenting it to the lost world is that, or at least in the US, I can't speak for outside, obviously, but is that there's a misunderstanding of where we sit and where God sits and who God is. So people don't understand that, I'm God's enemy. Like, the God of the universe is like, he can't be with me because of sin. And because of that, I'm going to endure his wrath for all of eternity unless something happens. So then, like, it's like getting to a point where the gospel is actually good news. Because if you just say, hey, Jesus died for your sins, you're like, well, cool. I mean, I'm a good person anyways, so why didn't he need to die for my sins? You know what I'm saying? So how would you guys go about, like, sharing that with a non-believer? Because I think that's something that, I mean, I struggle with personally.
So I think to start when you share the gospel is to come to a realization with whoever you're talking to that we're all bad. We're all sinners. And almost harp on, I'm just as bad. I sin every single day. And it's not like it's not coming from, and then all sins are equal. I think that should be, for certain people, that's a big deal. Like if you're talking to an alcoholic, like, and drinking gets put on being drunk gets put on a pedestal of the sin that they struggle with. You share the sins that you struggle with, and that if you can get on the playing field of none of us are good, we're all deserving of hell. Mother Teresa deserves hell. She's earned hell. And if you can get on that page, then I think you're in. I think you're in a good place, because that's where the gospel comes in. That's where Jesus Christ comes in. And this is free to you. It's free. Anybody can have Jesus. You just got to want it. You just got to ask for it. And it's so easy, yet people, I think you're right, Daniel. I think people complicate it. And it's so easy. It's just to seek Jesus Christ and know that he is the Son of God and that he died for you, and that you are a sinner and you can't do anything if it weren't for him. Whether you think you do or not, rely on him for everything. Not one breath that you take is because you did it. It's because he allows you to do it. And that he resurrected and he died on the cross for you. And then if you can get on that page, that's the gospel. Like you could share the good news by saying the bad news first. Like the bad news is you're not good. But to a non-believer, like that, they can get really defensive real quick when you do that, right? And I get it. Somebody just told you suck, right? Your initial thought is not going to be like, I do suck, right? Like that's not going to be your thought. You're going to be real defensive real quick, right? Daniel, you said, I think NFL coaches make more money. My first thought was, I'm going to look up how much money Nick Saban makes because I think I'm right. It's not. I think Daniel's probably right. It's not like your initial thought is never you're wrong, you're bad, right? So you have to say that we're all equal in that space. And I think it makes it much easier for them to understand that we're all bad. Your heart's not good.
I Agree. The common ground, I think, is vital. What if they come back with, though, like, I guess you can't make someone believe, so that's a work of the
You're
Holy
just
Spirit.
planting seeds. You're just planting seeds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not about what you can do. It's not about what you can say.
Yeah.
You just try.
Yeah.
Like I think the evangelizing part of it, what we're called to do as Christians, is just try. And then God takes care of the rest. You know, if he wants this person to come to this realization, he's going to be on their heart in that moment. And if not, then it's not their time. Or they didn't want it. You know what I mean? Like, if they want it, they will seek you. I've had that happen before where I thought somebody was a lost cause. I'm like, I'm not like, well, that was a waste of a conversation. I was like, I wish I wouldn't have done that because now this person's probably never going to talk to me ever again. Right. Like kind of like cool acquaintances, friends. And then you have this kind of conversation and it gets a little bit weird and they get a little bit awkward. And then they're like, all right, well, I got to go. Bye. I'm like, well, that sucked. Right. And then 4 days later, they come back. Well, what does this mean? If this is what you're saying, if this is this, what does this mean? What's happening there? God is working.
Right.
You know, it's not on how good can you do it. It's just that you try. And I personally think the common ground thing is like the number one thing to do first for non-believers because it kind of eases everybody's defenses.
Yeah. No, I get that.
And if they go F you, I don't care. I don't believe in God. You can go somewhere else. You know,
I do think
you have a good day. God bless you. And then walk west.
Something that I 100% fail with is actively praying for those that are lost.
That's what I was just thinking.
Well, then go ahead, man. You're going to put better words to it than I will.
No, like I was just sitting there thinking like the first thing that we should be doing, good or bad, like meaning if something good comes from the conversation or the conversation goes nowhere, either way we need to be praying. One, we need to be praying that the Lord will give us the opportunities to do that. Then we pray for the strength and the courage when he brings us an opportunity to step out in faith. And then we need to be praying for the people that we're having opportunities with. You know what I'm saying? Like once he's planted, I think one way you water the seed is you pray for the person.
And I would say that I'm really bad at that. Like Daniel said, like you struggle with that. I don't think I pray for that ever. Like an opportunity. I think I'm pretty good at like jumping on the opportunity when it comes it comes about to me. But like praying for it and praying for people, and like that instance that I told you about, I did not pray, God, I hope you work on him, because it just felt like that was bad. I just immediately thought, that guy will probably never talk to me. Like I didn't think and I think it's very hard to change that thinking into immediately you should pray for them. I'm going to answer a couple of these questions. Jump in if you have anything to say. Okay. Taylor goes, my thing is I get hung up on what if they say they don't care about where they go when they die. I would say to that as a Christian, how much do you have to hate them for just letting them go to hell? You know, you at least are, you know, you're saying as a Christian, I care about you enough not to let you just go to hell without trying. Right. And this is why I want to tell you about Jesus. And if they don't care after that, you've kind of done what you can. But that would be the answer to that question, at least in my mind. And then Kenneth goes, one of my good friends is to work at Devout Muslim. How hard am I supposed to try for him? Kenneth, my best friend in college was a devout Muslim. He's from Algeria. His name was Abdul Beki Zagdoud. And we would have conversations all the time. And how I would start this would be just as a curiosity question, not even coming about it with like, hey, I'm about to witness to this dude. Would just be like, hey, you're Muslim, yeah? And he goes, yeah. I see you pray on your magic carpet 5 times a day. I don't say that. But say what is Jesus to you? Just because I don't know. Right. Even if you do know, say, what is Jesus to you? I'm just curious. I know you believe in Muhammad and, and he's like the last prophet. Right. I get all that. But what is Jesus to you? And then they'll say whatever. They'll say Jesus was a prophet back in the day. And then you go, this is what Jesus is to me. And in that way, you are witnessing to this person. You're telling this person what Jesus is, what he did for you, what he did for everybody, what he did for him. And he might not have people telling him that before, and maybe he does, but it's still, that's witnessing to him without kind of going about it as like penetrating his religion. Does that make sense? It's a very easy way to, and just ask, who is Jesus to you? I promise you, he'll want to talk about his religion. And then once he does, you get to talk about yours.
How did you approach that without knowing like the Quran and how Islam works?
I knew how Islam worked.
Okay.
You research it.
I that's what I was asking. Like, did you do a lot of research?
Not a ton. Just literally YouTubed. What is Islam? How does it work? If you YouTube, how does Mormonism work? It will show you the 3 different tiers of heaven and which one you're allowed to get in, not allowed to be in. You know what I mean? It gets real funky. And it's not hard. And I would say, and so for Islam, like, because they'll bring up, there are a lot of verses that sound a lot like the Bible's verses, but it's a lot different. But basically just the big keys is all you need to know, right? That you know that Muhammad, they believe in Muhammad. He's the last prophet. He had a vision. It was very Mormonism-esque with Joseph, right? With the magic glasses, kind of same thing. Muhammad gets transported, and that's why Mecca's Mecca. And then you go like, where does Jesus? Jesus is a very small part of the Quran, and it's just he was a prophet. That's it. Jesus is like freaking Nathaniel to David, right? That's what Jesus is. Like in the Quran, you understand what I'm saying? Like it's a very small part. They don't think anything about him, and then you go, well, that's where it differs. That's where it's just like y'all just having a conversation, right? Like. That's where Islam is so different from Christianity. It's just Jesus. Jesus is just a prophet to you. Jesus to me is everything, right? Like believing in Jesus, that he died on the cross for you, for your sins. That's how you get to heaven for me. And then you can hit him with this because they don't know. You go, let me ask you this. Do you know you're going to heaven? And they will say, you don't know. You just try to be the best Muslim you can be. And then you'd be like, well, that's the difference, brother. I know. Because I've accepted Jesus as my Christ and Savior. And it might hit deaf ears for sure. I understand. I'm like, you have to be okay with that because a devout Muslim, that's a hard freaking thing to crack. But it might be the only time he ever hears that. And all it is, you literally are planting a seed that a lot of people are scared of that soil. And then you just let God do what God does. And maybe it'll hit, maybe it won't, but you've done your duty as a Christian.
What would you say to the person who, when you're explaining that Jesus saved you, and then they say, well, how did he save you? And what did he save you from? What's your response? Just curious.
Daniel.
Because in that specific moment, you've got to kind of think from a non-believer standpoint, like somebody who doesn't believe what you believe, and they're like, well, what did he save you from? Like you know what I mean? Like it's
yourself.
yeah, but you can't answer it with like that. You know what I mean? I mean,
I think it goes back to, you have to go back to God's character. Like, who is God, right? He's extremely loving, like abounding in loving kindness, but he's also just. And because he is just, he cannot exist with sin and therefore has to punish it for all eternity. So, like, that's why there was a sacrificial system in the Old Testament. It was a picture of what was to come, right? But that I think you have to get to that point, is like understanding, like, hey, there's a God out there that if you're not on his side, then you should be like terrified, waking up in cold sweats at night type of thing. And if there's not an understanding of that, then we got to get to that point first. Because if you don't get to that point, then it's like, yeah, Jesus, like, what does he save me from? God saying, oh, you're only going to get to purgatory or something like that, which is a false doctrine. I'm not saying that's okay, but like, oh, you're only getting to the second level of heaven or whatever that
Paula
bullcrap is, right? Let's be honest. Because people think that, hey, I can work my way to heaven, but Paul makes it clear, right? Isaiah makes it clear. My best deeds are filthy rags. The words they use are kind of vulgar, to be honest. So it's not that we could get to God. We could never get to God. We were never able to get to God once Adam sinned. And then at that point, it's just, I'm being saved from eternal damnation. So that's pretty dang important.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like you have to just and I think you kind of have to be okay with it just not clicking. Like, obviously you want to, but it's like you're a salesman knocking door to door. You're going to get said no to a lot, but you're doing a disservice without being like, if you're not for God, like, you are against him. And like, dude, it's not what you think it's going to be. Like, and again, they're going to come at it from a point of, well, like, I don't think it's what you think it's going to be. And you're probably going to just agree to disagree. But I mean, I would express, like, that makes me sad. It makes me sad for you, because I want you to be sad. I don't want hell for you. And it makes me sad that you're not going to realize it. And then after that, you kind of just got to let it be.
And I think that bleeds into, like, the scandalous nature of grace, dude. Like, let's be honest here. God loved us enough to, as enemies, send his only son to die for our sins so that we could maybe be with him someday, whether we choose to be or not. Like, wow.
For the chance.
Yeah. For basically, so that, yeah. That's crazy.
And on top of it, leave it to our will when we're terrible. like like
I don't know. It says so much about the character of God, and I mean, that's just something I'm starting to appreciate a little bit as I get in my, old age.
Am I the oldest one in this podcast?
How old are you?
I think so. I'm 30.
I'm 30.
When's your birthday?
December 5th.
Whoa. We're all within like 7 months of each other.
Close.
That's pretty cool, I think. Daniel's birthday is in 2.5 weeks.
You'll be 30?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I will.
Oh, man.
I know. Already feeling it.
Easter.
Is it Easter?
This year it is, yeah.
It's on Easter?
Yeah.
Dude, that sucks.
Why?
Because, like, you don't get your own day. You know, that's,
Dude, you're about to get so many blessings, bro.
yeah.
Yeah, bro.
For the
Just
small
gotta donate
price of
$1,000. Sean,
How
when did
old
you
are
get
y'all?
saved?
Huh?
When did you get saved? I'm answering Taylor's question.
I would say 17. I would say I thought I was saved much earlier than that.
What was
I
the
got-
difference? How did you like in this one where you were confident in it?
I was a changed man. I didn't want what I wanted before. That's probably the best way to put it. My mom worked in the nursery and I went to big church by myself a lot, and I was like the freaking savant in Awanas. I could memorize verses like no other. I got a memory like an autistic kid that has a great memory. And so I was very good at like pretending, if you will. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people, but no, I had so much hate in my heart for a lot of different reasons. And then I just didn't want that anymore. I don't even know what I thought I was chasing, but in a way, my knee like breaking and moving at the same time is a great blessing. Cause I mean, I let go of all of that. You know, I had dreams and it just kind of took those away. And, but I didn't have any I didn't want to be distracted by the things that I was distracted with. I knew I was lost and I knew Jesus was the answer. And I don't think I truly said, yes, and I want to follow this. I wanted to follow my own. I wanted to chase pretty girls. I didn't want to do what the Bible told me to do. The way Jesus said to live, I didn't care to live that way. I knew it, but I didn't care to. And it didn't lead to happiness. And then I mean, I just had a real conversation with God, and I was like, listen, I want you to change me. I don't know what I'm doing. But I know you're the answer. I know Jesus died on the cross. I believe all that stuff. I believe all that stuff from the jump. It's not I didn't believe it, but like Daniel said before, you could know. It doesn't mean that you're saved. And I just in that honest conversation, I was like, I want you to change me. I don't even know what I want. I just know that I'm not fulfilled. I'm not satisfied if I don't have you in my heart and the guiding principle of how I should live. And then after that, I woke up the next day and I didn't want those things.
It was like that for you.
Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. There was trial and error. Like I didn't talk to a girl for a long time, you know, basically how you did all of high school. But like, it was different because I used to talk to girls a lot, but like, it was like 6 months of just, hey, I can't talk to a girl because I'm going to think a certain way if I do. Right. And then, gradually that got better and better. Right. So stuff like that. But I had a lot of I put up a lot of guardrails to not fall into sin. Does that make sense? Not that I was perfect, but I just knew that it would be so easy for me to go back to how I thought. Not that I lived some crazy life. I didn't, but just how I would think about things. It would be so easy for me to fall back into that. So I put up a lot of guardrails against that, and then eventually didn't think that way anymore. I remember Daniel said something to me that hurt me in my heart, and it made me feel really bad. And he told me that my conscience was seared. and like I didn't even see bad things as bad, even though they were really, really bad. And I remember thinking, I remember like a song coming on and me not wanting to listen to that song because it was just cuss words the whole song, right? And like it kind of dawned on me. I see what he meant by my conscience was seared. Like you just stuff, all kinds of stuff just doesn't even hit you the same. And it kind of just stuck with me the whole, and then my desires changed little by little. I wouldn't say it was like that, but me wanting to be different was like that. Does that make sense? And
Yeah,
then,
that's cool.
having an understanding about what that difference is, I think took a roller coaster of up and downs, right? But I definitely, the older I get, the more knowledgeable I get, the more in the word that I get. Not that like that goes into roller coasters too. The more understanding I get what it means to be different is. So, yeah. Sorry, I felt like long-winded.
You're
No,
good.
that's
Rock.
tough, dude.
I think I was 22, I believe. Similar story. So I grew up in church. My dad's been a pastor for 22 years, I think 21 years. He was an associate pastor before that. He's been, he was an alcoholic, got saved, I think maybe right before they had me, or a few years before they had me. So whenever that happened, obviously going from alcoholic, party animal, whatever, to Christ follower, it was like a big 180 for him. So I say that to say, I grew up, he was on fire. So I grew up, anytime the doors were opened at church, we were there. Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday night, the whole nine. Awanas, same way with me. I actually got saved the first time. I believe it was at Awanas. I was like 4 years old or 5 years old or something, and I don't really remember much of it, but it was one of them things that I guess it was just kind of that time that a lot of kids do it, you know what I mean? And almost, I don't want to say to fit in because I really don't remember that much, but I also know that it wasn't really genuine because that's not saying that you can't get saved at a young age. But I've always struggled with, at that age, where is the change? You know what I mean? Like, or where is the, in military terms, it's called an about face. So you're walking this way, and an about face is when you turn and you go the complete opposite direction. And I think that's the evidence of your salvation. And that's why I don't think that was genuine when I was that age. And so fast forward, let's see, that was at 5 years old. Fast forward 12, 13 years, start getting out of high school, or junior, senior year, start partying some. Freshman year of college, all of my friends went off. Except there was me and a couple other guys that we stayed here and went to tech school for the first 2 years. We had friends with houses in Clemson and friends with houses in Carolina. So that really, I guess, added fuel to the partying fire. So for the next 2-3 years, I guess, I was big into the party scene, college town every weekend for football games, going out to bars, blah, 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 whole nine, drinking, smoking, just, living the college life. And the whole time, I mean, like I can remember being at parties and smoking or drinking or whatever, and like just after the moment started fading, like just thinking like, dude, you're not supposed to be doing this. Like this is not right, and it's not right. You know what I mean? Well, finally, I mean, I just kind of gave up, and I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. And kind of similar to like what John said, is it was just like, Lord, change me. Like I know this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. And just to be real, like I struggled with it for a long time because maybe it's just being in the Bible Belt, but like a lot of times you're almost pushed on this sinner's prayer thing, and so when I obviously, like, my dad's a pastor, and most churches, like at the end, they have like an invitation where you can go down to the altar and pray, and you can go talk to the pastor or whatever. And I couldn't tell you what what he preached on that Sunday. Couldn't tell you much about the service or anything, but during the invitation that Sunday, I believe I was 22. I just felt a tug that like that was it. You know what I'm saying? Like that now's the time where you make that about face and you don't go back. And so I went down there and I talked to Dad or whatever, and I say that about the sinner's prayer because it bothered me for a while because he didn't lead me in like the sinner's prayer, like it was, or the salvation prayer, whatever you want to call it. But I do vividly remember the prayer, and I remember him saying, "Lord, you hear Brock's heart. Now make yourself known to him," or something along those lines. But he was like, "You hear his heart, make it genuine." And from that, I'm not going to say the desire wasn't there. And like you were saying, there were trials and tests, and I tried to dip my foot back in the water a couple times, but like there's still really not the desire that there was. Like, yeah, sometimes it's like, oh man, we had some good times. We like that was fun while it lasted, blah 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 blah. But like there's not that desire anymore to go out and party. And you know what I'm saying? Like, so I would say that was the moment, because that was when, not because it's the actions that save you, but that was when my actions started becoming the evidence of the decision. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That's when you started bearing fruit.
Right.
Yeah.
But then it's also like, just sitting here talking, like it's kind of convicting to me because I guess I didn't necessarily realize it had been like 8 years. And I'm sitting here thinking like, it's been 8 years since you made that change. Why are you not way more mature than what you are? You know what I'm saying? And we kind of hit on that in the last episode. Like, if I spent, or why did I get so much better at CrossFit in the first 2 years that I did it? Because I religiously went an hour a day and worked and worked and worked. When I just think of the ring muscle up example that we talked about. Whenever I didn't have my ring muscle ups, whenever I couldn't do one, all the time after the class workout or going in early before the class workout, I would work on them. Finally, I got one. So then I would work on them, continued working on them. Then I started getting sets of 2. Then I worked on those, and then it built up to where I was getting sets of 3. Well, it's the same way with our faith. Why, if I'm having a hard time sharing the gospel, if I'm having a hard time being bold enough to step out in faith, well, what should I do? Well, I should work at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I think a lot of times we don't take this side of it as serious as something else, or it's almost like, for me personally, a lot of times it's almost like I'm looking for God to just give me something when I'm not. I mean, just like the post today from a couple episodes ago, like, why do we expect a CrossFit Games level fitness when we're dropping in at a gym every once a week or once a month? Like, that's not how it works, you know?
I would encourage you guys to, if you have time, because this has been a little helpful to me too. What both you guys are talking about is something that I think every Christian goes through. Definitely a huge part of my walk too. It reminds me of Romans 12:2, and do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you may prove what the will of God is, that which is good and acceptable and perfect. And the big part there for me is transformed by the renewing of your mind, right? How active that has to be. Johnny has a podcast he does called Dial In, where he addresses like how you can, some ways we can renew our mind, that I thought was interesting. If you have, if you're bored one time and want to check some stuff out.
Dial In.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I love, this is a passage that was preached on Bible study recently that, dude, I think it's so cool the older I get, just learning more. Philippians 2:12 and 13. So then, my beloved, just as you have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your salvation with fear and trembling. But then the very next verse, for it is God who is at work in you, both to will and to work for his good pleasure. So it's not like we're doing this on our own, right? We can't transform our lives on our own. The Spirit's working through us, but that doesn't mean that it's like, it's kind of unfathomable to think that we're in a relationship with God Almighty, and it's not like he does all the saving, but at the same time, I have an input in it. Like, it's not like I'm just, dead weight type of thing.
Yeah, it's a trippy dynamic.
Super.
Yeah,
It's cool.
it's a lot like a father-son, just when you're 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He can't do it for you. He can't do it for you. He can't want it for you. He can't think for you. But he's trying to get you to do the right thing.
Right.
Like it's
just, and how do we get to do the right thing when we're young?
By looking at our father. You look up to him,
and dang discipline, dude.
Yeah.
Getting whipped. Yep. It's the trials, right?
Yeah.
Disciplines those he loves.
He loves me. I feel so loved sometimes.
This is good, because this is like, doubt is an area that I struggle with a lot. And for me personally, it comes in waves. Like it's very strange. Like I'll go through like month stints where it's just like doubt is just over me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, whether it be doubting my salvation or just doubt in general. I have a hard time with that a lot of times. But that also, going from that, it goes directly back to Romans 12:2, like you were just saying. It's the transforming and renewing of your mind. Doubt starts in your head, and then it festers and festers and festers, and then it just continues growing. The next thing you know, you're doubting everything. If the enemy can plant that seed in your head, that's where doubt comes from, I think.
I think Psalms is a great tool on kind of or picture of what we should do in doubt. If you read it, like David's brutally honest in a lot of his Psalms, like, God, where are you? What are you doing? Why is this going on? But then most every Psalm he comes back to, but I know you are this. I will trust in your promises.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on, but I trust that you got it.
Yeah, but it's not, and I'm not saying that's like, I'm not trying not to say this tritely because it's not easy to do by any means, but like when we're in our doubts, like you said, Brock, constantly renewing our mind of the truths of God. Why did God tell Moses to have the people write it on their foreheads, right? Tell it to everybody because he knew they'd forget. Just like we're prone to wander, Lord, I feel it, prone to leave the God I love.
Mm.
So. My salvation story is pretty boring, so I'll just
let's hear it. Impress me.
5 or 6. I can't even remember. Sunday school. Thank the good Lord I had. Not that any of us didn't have, but parents that made it a priority daily to kind of steward that heart transformation. And I would say, like, I have been saved since then, but it's become much more my own through trials. Not that I've experienced anything very significant, but things that have questioned worldviews or destroyed idols or, as John said, trashed careers or, dreams.
Why are you so confident in 5 or 6?
Because I think my life exhibited a heart towards Christ from that point. Not that I was anywhere close to perfect by any means, but I remember regularly having conversations with my dad of when I was younger, like, am I saved? I don't know. I don't feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. He's like, the fact that you're having these questions and thoughts for me
means you believe in
a testament that
you believe what you
saved.
believe. Yeah.
Right. So, and he's smartest, wisest guy I know, but so I'm very lucky to have had him.
It's nice to have a childlike faith, like, stick through.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think part of that is because, like, maybe I was lucky in seeing some of the stuff that my family went through, would
you say that you are kind of like a rule follower though?
Yeah.
I think like the way you kind of are lends itself to sticking.
Yes, or extreme hypocrisy.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying with that though? Like, I feel like I was rebellious. I feel like I would push it to see how much I could get away with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or my instinct would be like, they won't know if I do this. You know what I mean? Like I don't think, and I think you would be scared to take a cookie out of the cookie jar. Like,
Sure.
I think lucky's the wrong word, but I think that helped.
You can call it sovereignly ordained if you want to do that. Then instead,
you're one of the chosen ones, dude. we could just throw you in the 144. We might as well.
Oh my gosh! Don't get started on that.
You got the nose for it.
Taylor, what do you mean by that exactly? I'm going to need a little elaboration. So, Oh, John.
Oh, when was I backsliding? I'm gonna need a little elaboration for that, Taylor.
I think that's a good question. It's like where's the line? Well, maybe not line, but like where's the? And I guess that's not for anybody else to answer other than yourself.
Right.
But
Oh, she's talking like you said 5 or 6, and I said, "How do you know?" And she said,
Yeah.
that could be you're just backsliding. You're not unsaved. You're just in a low point in your walk.
Yeah.
Okay, I get I get that, Taylor. You're right. You're right. I'm just listen, if he can't explain his convictions, Taylor, then he's not very convicted. Okay, but he appreciates you defending him like that.
I mean, obviously we can't judge hearts talking to Taylor's question. So I think it's even hard for the individual to necessarily know, but that's between you and God. And I would lean towards, if I'm not bearing fruit or there's not fruit of some sort, then I should be terrified of the possible outcome versus like if you're in my opinion, maybe this is wrong, but if you're in a state where you're like, dude, I'm saved, I'm good. Like,
I don't think that's what she's talking about.
Okay.
So what you're saying, absolutely. I think if you think that way, then you're not saved. Blunt. If you think I'm good, I don't have to do anything. Like I'm good, right? Then you're not good. You don't know. You have no idea what's going on. Like you've lied to yourself enough that you think you're good. If you truly think that.
Yeah.
Like dependent on yourself. I think the second you think you have it figured out and you're depending on yourself, then you're the most lost you've ever been.
I'm not saying you're not saved, but you're in dangerous waters for sure.
I do think you can hit. I do think you go on roller coasters. I think there are points in life where you're on fire for God and you're reading every day and you're praying every day. And then there are points in life where you haven't been to church in 6 weeks and you just have so much going on with different things, just different things that are distracting you and you need to get back on track. Like, I think that's, and you're still saved. Like, I think that happens all the time.
We talked about that.
Yeah, I think the difference is when you recognize it. And once you recognize it, that's when you've got to make the change right then. Well, that's when you've got to take a step. Yeah.
All right. I think we've covered it.
Talk about this for hours, man.
Yeah.
We're getting into all sorts of stuff. You said chosen. You said loss of salvation here.
I was okay. I was joking.
Okay.
I don't think you are a chosen one, Daniel.
I think we're all chosen.
Okay. Either we're all chosen or nobody's chosen. That's what I'm saying. That's the camp that I'm in.
Okay.
All right, guys. I think we're good. We're good.
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay.
Be back at it again next week.
Yep. I think we had a lot of good conversation today. We hit a lot of topics. As always, put in comments if you have questions. Put it in the comments of anything that we said. We had a lot of good questions this one. And then like and subscribe. And that we will see you. We'll see you next week. Peace.